Hello, guys. Well, quite a shitty day, isn't it? As you can see in kind of my background with the sun out. Very dreary and cold day out today. But at least hope you guys had a fun New Year's. But anyway, this video is, of course, of the comments and questions you get that you guys have been asking me. I'll, of course, be just showcasing them and talking about them, of course, a bit as I go on to each comment and question. So let's get on with it, I guess. And the first comment, I like it when the dolls are a part of the videos you make. And in a way, I agree with that. But you also have to keep in mind it's not always necessary to bring my dolls out on these videos. I think that would be just a bit too repetitive. And two, if I had done that all the time, I mean, these dolls aren't light, and having to pick them up all the time, every time I make a video, would be kind of ridiculous. It seriously does get ridiculous. I mean, unless there's a reason for me to showcase a doll, at least some kind of reason, then I might, display one of my dolls, as part of the video, but it's not always necessary, and it can get pretty annoying if I'm having to do it all the time. Just saying, it is. And the next comment, or should I say it's a question. How safe is it to keep or sleep next to your love doll? Could bedding stain her? And I basically told him, I have never had anything happen, negatively anyway, when it came to me sleeping next to my dolls. I mean, sometimes it would be a bit uncomfortable when I can't move over very much when I'm sleeping next to my love doll, but it's, nothing has ever happened to the doll or me while I have slept next to my doll whenever I have done that on kind of a rare, somewhat rare occasion, I guess I might say, just for fun. And the other part of his question was, could the bedding stain her? And I just said, it could if you have never washed, your bedding. I mean, if you've at least washed your bedding, let's say at least 2 to 3 times, there you more likely won't see any stains really, or to little to none, just so you know, because if you try to rub it in, you're most likely going to see a bit of a stain, of course, but yeah, especially if it's a TPE doll, you might notice something over long exposure, maybe even if you have washed them, but it would take a little while, and that would take some extended effort to say the least. But yeah, again, either get white sheets or wash them at least 2 to 3 times before you have your TPE doll touch the bedding, of course. And let's see, this is another question. I did some Googling for TPE material tolerances. I was thinking of storing the doll in a cabinet that maintains a constant 85 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. According to the seller, the dolls have to be stored at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. My research into TPE dolls says storing up to 140 degrees Fahrenheit is acceptable. What do you think? And when I first read this question, I was a bit baffled when he was stating that it's okay to put a TPE doll or even a silicone doll up to 85 to 90 degrees. I think you can maybe store, let's say, a silicone doll up to possibly 80 to 90 degrees, but then he put it's okay to store this TPE doll at 70 Fahrenheit. That is probably the most that I would ever, subject one of my TPE dolls to at the most. And then he said that a vendor told him that putting a TPE love doll at 140 degrees is okay. And I don't know what kind of vendor would tell him that, because that is just wow. I wouldn't even put a silicone doll in 140 degrees. That's above cooking temperature. Cooking temperature is 120 degrees. That is what you cook food with. And this vendor told him that putting a TPE doll at 140 degrees is okay. And of course, I stated, that to him, that, at the most, I would put a doll like maybe 70 degrees Fahrenheit at the most. You really do not want to subject, especially a TPE material doll, to heat, which is part of the reason why it's not good to wash your TPE doll with hot water, because it doesn't handle heat very well. And this is another question. How do you feel after owning your doll for over a few months? Because I'm curious to know if this is an investment. And basically what I said to him was, when I first got my first technical love doll from a place called Teddy Babes, it's a fabric love doll that was cheaper, because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep on liking having a love doll and having fun with it. So I got a cheaper one first that was made out of fabric. And then I had that one for at least a couple years. And I thought, okay, yeah, this is kind of neat. This is something that I would like to have more of, or something that's more realistic. So then I got a TPE doll, that had with a kind of reasonable enough price. And then over a year ago, I got a silicone doll, which you have seen showcased on my, YouTube channel from time to time. And I think this kind of stuff is pretty neat and interesting. I think that these dolls are a work of art, and they can be fun, to kind of role play with sometimes and use, quote unquote use. But, that's just my opinion. But I also told him that if for any reason you have looked into it enough and you have not decided that you want a love doll, to just simply not get one. Because if you aren't sure if you like something, the more likely you are not going to like something. Having a love doll is not necessarily for everybody. Not everybody necessarily wants or needs a love doll, to say the least. I'm not, of course, going to teach on my channel to just get a love doll. I'm not a seller. I'm not an advertiser like that. And even if I helped with some advertisement towards a love doll site, I would never tell somebody to just buy a love doll, because this stuff doesn't come cheap. It really doesn't. And then here's another comment. Yes, all TPE dolls are made kind of similar, but they definitely don't look different. Now is a comment on, whether to have, one versus multiple TPE dolls. And of course, what I stated to him is, yes, they do look differently from each other. A lot of TPE dolls look different from each other, and with different heights and different hairstyles and all that. But, when it comes down to it, if you get, let's say, more than 2 TPE dolls, and the only thing that's different from each doll is that they look different, the only thing that you're paying for when it comes to the other doll that you just bought is just the fact that she looks different from the other two, which is kind of my point of that video. And if you can buy 3 love dolls or TPE love dolls, you might as well look for one that is more expensive. To be frank, that is better. But that's just my opinion. And of course, I don't judge anybody that would buy even 10 love dolls, to be frank. If in their minds, what they're trying to do is that they're trying to kind of create their own world of personalities with these different love dolls. I mean, like I said, but they are basically made the same, and they're going to feel the same. But anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.